Hi, my name is John Lobell, and this is a brief video about me and my enticing lectures. My education: I studied architecture at the University of Pennsylvania with some of the great architects of the mid-20th century, Louis Kahn, Robert Venturi, Edmund Bacon, and I'm a professor of architecture at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, one of the most prestigious art, architecture, and design schools. I also teach some online courses at Build Academy, and I have lectures on YouTube. I've worked in major architectural offices on the Albany Mall in New York and on experimental technologies for future cities. I've been a sculptor, artist, and curator. This is an environmental sculpture that I did, fills the whole room, at the Architectural League of New York. And I'm Director of Research for Timeship. You'll find that at timeship.org. It's a cryonics and life extension facility. I've written several books: The Little Green Book on Ecology, Between Silence and Light, Spirit in the Architecture of Louis I. Kahn, and my most recent book is called Visionary Creativity: How New Worlds Are Born, about creativity. I have an online radio show that you can hear at prn.fm, and my back shows are at visionaries.podbean.com. I do consulting in high-end technology for a company called Milgo Bufkin. You'll find us at milgo-bufkin.com. We fabricate for major sculptors. I was in charge of research for TelZero, a telecom company, and I was involved in launching NetNames USA, an online company. You'll find me online at johnlobell.com, my articles, books, resume, etc., blogs, at visionarycreativity.com, mostly about my creativity book, and you can follow me on Twitter and friend me on Facebook. My lectures. Well, I've lectured throughout the world at dozens of universities and cultural institutions. One of them is Art is Naples, where I lecture every year, but at many other institutions around the world. And you'll find 100 plus of my lectures on YouTube, which have been viewed over 100,000 times. And if you go to my channel, you then can click on my playlists, and I've tried to put some order to these 100 plus lectures. My speakers bureau is Chartwell for terrestrial speaking, and I've lectured on Seabourn. That was an Adriatic trip. My lecturing style is casual, trying to induce discussions with the audience, open to questions, and let me just play a few seconds of myself lecturing. And as I began to get focused, I was going to write this book on creativity. I pretty much got all the books and read a lot of them, particularly if they had an audio version, then I could listen in the car. They're almost all about neurophysiology and synapses and neurotransmitters and parts of the brain with big Latin names. And so finally, I have a passage in my book where I quote some of that stuff, and with these Latin names for medulla oblongata or whatever that stuff is. Has this ever helped anyone design a building or make a movie or write a book? So the lectures I have available for cruise ships. I have 4 lectures on Venice, the city of Venice, the architecture of Venice, Venetian painting, and Venice in romantic movies, a look at 5 different movies about Venice. Lectures on Adriatic ports of call and the Balkans. And it's interesting how the world divides at the Balkans. So if you look at my lectures on the homepage here, you'll see what that's about. I lecture on technology changing our lives, technological optimism, nanotechnology, transhumanism, and immortality, the singularity, when we merge with artificial intelligence, Marshall McLuhan, and genomics beyond DNA. All really interesting stuff. Lecture on creativity. I have some lectures on myths and movies, the hero journey in Star Wars and lots more movies. Clint Eastwood, how he's a Buddhist knight Interesting to see what that's about. Groundhog Day, very famous movie, and just now a Broadway musical as well, and Phantom of the Opera, and why the Phantom of the Opera play is the largest money-making work of entertainment of all time. Why is that? I have 5 lectures on architecture and culture, looking at Gothic cathedrals, Baroque architecture, the culture and architecture of Japan, pre-Columbian architecture, and Buddhism in architecture. And 6 lectures on modern architecture, Frank Lloyd Wright. What was modern architecture? It's over now. What was postmodern architecture? That's over too. The architecture of Louis Kahn, I'm somewhat of an expert. And then a great lecture on the radical architecture of the 1960s. 5 lectures on art, the art of Western culture, the art and culture of the East, modern art and culture, and the art and culture of the 60s. So, those are my lectures. You can find them on the homepage of this website, brief descriptions of them, and the whole lectures. See you on board.